Today we bring in a story that we haven't heard from since 2 years ago. Markus Jones Jr. was at the height of his career, and we didn't really see him talk to many girls in this story, but he definitely had a few options out there. And that's where we pick up the story. Markus had his eye on a chick since college, and now at the height of his career, he finally made the move. And of course, the further their relationship progressed, they had a child, and 16 years later brings us here. Markus Jones III was a spoiled brat. Don't get me wrong, the boy could hoop, but he was a big time brat. Always on the internet flexing what his daddy's money bought him and what he could do on the court. Got him into a lot of trouble as well. The trouble really started his junior year of high school. He was really a dog, but too flashy. Constantly getting in trouble on the court with the refs. They was calling techs on him getting kicked out of games. His seasons didn't really pan out the way he wanted them to. The on-court ejections led to him getting kicked out of school. Fights broke out in the hallway with him and his own teammate. Like, he won the fight, but lost in the long run. Getting kicked out halfway through his junior season in high school was a big blow, especially with the scouts trying to lock him in to be a part of their program. Also, with the talks of him getting ejected out of games, scouts were hesitant to even approach him anymore. But who was to blame? Because Markus Jones Sr. and Jr. was on his ass about his school behavior and on-court behavior. His mom was constantly on his ass as well, and none of it was working. Now let's fast forward to his senior year, and now the family is scrambling to get him into a school on the team to finish things out. Luckily, the James family, who had always been close to Markus Jones Jr., was bringing Cedar Valley back for the first time in years and reached out. After the last dean of Cedar Valley was arrested for money laundering, the school shut down. Now they moved this school from Seattle to Cali, and this was the final destination for Markus Jones III, who everyone called Trey. Now, the way the James family put this team together was almost like a movie. The team was mostly made up of former NBA players' family members, led by Allen Iverson's great-great-grandchild, James Iverson, who looked suspiciously like Allen himself, but standing at 6'1", he was a dog. Next up was the Jones family's cousin on his mama's side, Devin Hernandez, who was a dog as well. Just needed the room to grow. And of course, Trey. Just those three alone were going to make this season a great one. But let's get into the season so we can really see if the hype matched the gameplay from these three. The score is already 2-1, with Trey scoring 1 from the free throw. Coach calls a backdoor, and it's an easy bucket to get things going for the new Vipers. Fast break, and we see a little ball hogging from MK3, not passing the ball, getting around a much smaller player for the lay. Calling for the screen, and he's so good at shooting off the dribble, might as well get that off the net. Another thing he's good at is fast break. No one can catch him when he's coming downhill. Simple dunk, hanging on the rim, he's a menace. But now we're starting to see flashes of what got Trey in trouble as he shows off a bit, getting back. Rebounding is easy when you're 6'6", and again, downhill, untouchable, getting to the rim, tough and one on the layup, and now he's in full show-off bag, pointed at the cameras that's there to see him. Board off the missed free throw. This time he throws it up to James Iverson, who converts a tough lay at the rim. The Vipers are playing lockdown defense. This time Trey gets another pass from his cousin, and it's another conversion at the rim, and another moment for Trey to flex on this much weaker team who needs a timeout. But that wouldn't stop the Vipers from securing their first win on the road, and it wasn't even close as Trey finishes his debut with 15, 5, and 4. Folks were talking, and it wasn't all good. Next game, and Trey is in his assist bag, starting the game off with a dime out to James, who quickly pulls the jumper, getting the boys going. And it must be something about Trey's passes, because off the rebound, he gives one to his cousin, Devin, who quickly pulls a tough three, and it's straight through the net. And the Vipers' defense is back on display. James with the strip, passing it up to MK3, who attacks this much smaller player, and that's a tough one that goes in again. Finally, with the lead in this game, downhill Trey taking off that vert, big dunk, got this crowd and the defense reconsidering putting this new Cedar Valley team on their schedule. And that wouldn't be the last time Trey rose up, down by 5, attacking the basket, getting the and one. And he had to let the student section know that this is in his DNA. He was really born for this, but the ref quickly tried to shut that down. But let's be honest, MK3 wasn't one to go away when the crowd was against him. Tipping the ball to himself for the board, fast break, getting another and one, and an overrated chance he had to stop as he beats on his chest, letting them know he was truly an animal. Crazy thing is, the Vipers were still losing in this game, sizing the defender up. left him at the perimeter, switching it up at the basket. Tough goal and that smooth take. Down by 3, pass to James, who just looks his defender in the eye and takes off. Literally, first poster for James though. And the boys were not letting up the closer they got to halftime, getting to that rim. Then Trey calls for a screen, and every time they go under, he's going to pull. And 6 times out of 10, you had to get it out the net. I guess they didn't learn their lesson because after half, Devin passes one and Trey pulls a quick one. Easy bucket. Devin controlling the offense, passes to the corner. Quick shot again. And it's a miss, but MK3 with a vert, easy putback, and the team is on a roll. Fast break, the game is over, but had to get a couple more for the roll. Easy dunk, and another one. Showing off the ball handling skills, easy attack, even easier bucket. Another win on the road, 26-8-7 for Trey, or a 16-point victory. A little early to say, but who is really going to stop these guys? But we're moving on. Downhill Trey is what they call him, and you see why. Teams got to figure out how to stop this. Great defense, and a board leads to MK3 on the break, and it's looking like he's by himself, not passing the ball, crashing out on a smaller player, throwing him to the floor. And the student section is going wild after that. Assist man is finally back in the building. His cousin in the corner. Quick trigger, and you can count it every time. Coach calls another one for Devin, who's coming off a down screen, wide open. Get it out the net. The way Trey runs the screen, you would think he was a point guard. Get into the lane, Euro. He's too strong, and that's another body. He's always wanted to be like his pops, and I think he is, and maybe even a little bit better. Still not done abusing the rim. Design play for him. Pump fake, going to the basket, throwing it down again, grabbing another assist, getting the ball to James, lay over 2 defenders. But out of nowhere, Trey decides to tap into another mode, finding ways to get to the rim. Attacking defenders with no hesitation. The Stallions have to call a timeout, but it's looking a little too late for all that because the student section is all fired up, making the other team miss free throws, and now Devin is cooking people off the dribble. It's getting wicked. Screen. Goofy goes underneath, and you should know what it is after that. It's a bucket. Devin coming out of his shell, letting the fans know that it really is running in the family. Tween. Get it out the net. Trey calling for the ball because his man is sagging off. Pull up. That's too easy for the 5-star player. 19-7-5 and a 13-point win for the first home game of the Vipers. Got the Stallions looking sad on their way home. And we finally get a tough matchup for the Vipers as they take on IMG Academy, and this is their first real test this season. But Trey is fearless because he plays against most of these guys during the AAU season, starting the game off with a body, calling for a screen, shooting the jumper, this time getting the bounce to go. Running off the screen, finding himself open, and the shooter's touch saves him again, knocking down the 3. Another screen, and this time it's nothing but net, giving the Vipers the lead. Second quarter, down by 2. Trey makes his way to the rim, over to help defense, tying the game up. Fast forward to the third, and this game is all but over. Calling for the screen. Trey cashes one out, but the lead is too much. Finally getting some help from his cousin who's been missing this game. He takes a tough 3, and it's good to see one go in for him. Coach draws up a backdoor that works perfectly, and the Vipers are actually fighting back. Another screen this time, the defender fights back, and that's his bad because Trey carries him to the rim and through that bitch. Nasty poster for MK3, trying to demoralize this IMG team. Time running down in the third, only down by 8. And now James comes out of hiding, getting to the basket, getting the and one, and getting this crowd on their feet. It's a 5-point game. Still feeding that hot hand. James sees that interior of this team is ass and gets back to the rim, catching his own body. But it wouldn't be enough as IMG finishes off the Vipers barely as Trey finishes with 24-3. Now, the rest of the season was pretty much a cakewalk for the Vipers and MK3. It was time for the playoffs, and as you know, things tend to get heated around these parts, and one team in particular who had a loud mouth on the team was yapping on IG Live the day before their game against the Vipers, and Trey happened to see it and requested to join. Now, some crazy words were thrown around, and the boys started to threaten each other, and they were ready to fight. Now, needless to say, that fight never happened, but this game was one to remember. It's loudmouth versus loudmouth. And this game was starting off to look like an instant classic as both teams got straight to work from behind the line. Real question is, who's going to miss first and who's going to go on a run? With the score 9-3, Trey decided to get the team going. Tough defense, but even better offense. Fighting to get to the rim, tough late. Trey goes for a steal that puts him out of position, but he quickly gets back for the block and the board. downhill, and you know what's going on. Strong Euro to the dunk, and it's a tie game. But that wouldn't last long. Back down 5, Devin comes through off the screen, shooting a deep one for 3, and it actually goes in. But the second quarter is about to start with a bang as Trey locks in from the inbound, catches a man slipping for the body, and the Vipers are 2-turn. Screen, and we're back to the basket, getting the and one. MK3 staring down his defender. The dribble moves got his man slipping, finesse at the basket. Trey is too cold, dusting off his shoulders. The lead continues to increase as downhill Trey catches another body, and it's getting bad for the other team. But them boys were not giving up, giving Trey a nice bucket on the other end. Trey had a response every time off the screen, get it out the net. And unfortunately, the trash talker actually got a bucket off late in the third, and you know he was on the court yapping. But this only made the Vipers go harder. Pass to Devin off the screen, got him wide open, easy shot. Then what all of Instagram wanted to see happen, as Trey rises up on the yapper and puts him in the rim, the trash talking was crazy. Fourth quarter and Trey still going up. Off the inbound, easy 3, but the buckets were still coming from the other side, making this a 3-point game with 55 seconds left. Fast forward, and Lakeside threw up a prayer that was missed. Vipers trying to get Trey the ball, turns it over. Luckily they miss again and get the ball to Trey finally, who just takes off for the easy dunk. I'm surprised Lakeside didn't foul. And as Trey dribbles the clock out, the Vipers defeat Lakeside by 7 and move on to the high school state finals. Trey finishes with 29, 8, and 2 with a huge smile on his face and the bragging rights for the rest of his life. Which leads us to the state championship game and the last game of MK3's high school career. Getting the game started off with a board and a quick outlet to his cousin, who sauces up something crazy for a big 3-pointer to get the Vipers going. Another board, and downhill Trey is on the move this time, breaking the defender all the way down, pulling the jumper, and he gets it to go. Unfortunately for MK3, foul trouble set him down for the majority of the first, but he got right back to action, tying the game up quickly. Watch the dribble skills. Getting back to the basket for a tough lay, dusting off his shoulders. Right now, Trey is in with the bench players as throwing up trash, no worries, elevating, going to get the monstrous putback, getting the fans rocking. Pump fake, got Goofy in the air, taking off. Another Goofy wants to help, but he puts him in a state championship poster that kids will have hanging on their walls forever. The gang is back in the game, and James is getting them going with a big 3-pointer to give the Vipers a 1-point lead. James off the screen this time, can't make up his mind, but he takes the shot, get it out the net. The dribble moves from Trey out here, messing around with the defender, strong take to the basket, lay, and it's time to show off. Again, trying to make a highlight reel, showing that he's too good for the level of play. Another attack on the rim, another bucket. Making light work of the defense, getting another easy take. Trey is turned up as he realizes that this game is done with and the state title is so close to his reach. Game's not over though. Only a 7-point lead, slowing the game down, taking a 3, get it out the net. And Trey is saying that this game is over with to the student section. Even Devin is turned right now, getting the board, and the and one got him flexing with Trey. And of course, we needed one more for the road, and this one is over. MK3, Cali State champion, along with his cousin and James Iverson, putting the new Cedar Valley team back on the map. And this is a huge dream come true for the program and its players. But of course, the story doesn't end there. Although Trey had done his best to stay out of the negative light with the media, some college scouts were still hesitant to make a move on MK3, which put him in a very bad mood. But that's not to say he didn't have options. Player of his caliber, he was wanted by some grateful colleges. It's just, did Trey even want to go to college? We will see what happens next, but you guys get in the comments and let Trey know what you think. And I'll catch y'all in the next one. We all were excited to see what MK3 was going to do for the next level of his basketball career. But like I told y'all in the last episode, his attitude on the court and off the court was putting him in a bad spot with recruiters. And as you know, he was a spoiled brat. And situations like this, where he should learn his lesson, his parents of course came in to save the day. Let me break down what was actually going on. Now, obviously, MK3 is a freak athlete and there were a lot of schools interested, but he wasn't trying to go in being the second or third option on the team. He wanted to be the star right away, and that makes sense. But in college, the competition was pretty much on the same level. He had a lot of expectations that he wanted met, and that turned a lot of schools off from him. He wasn't even looking at the offers that came from D2 and lower schools. It was D1 teams only, and not only that, but teams that he thought would help him get to March Madness. He really closed the door on a lot of schools and opportunities he wanted doing this. He had taken so many schools off his list, he was down to one last school, and of course, in true spoiled fashion, it was the school that his pops had a lot of pull at.
Marcus, the program misses you so much. I would say we need a player like you right about now, but it looks as if you delivered before I could even ask.
Coach, my baby is grown up now, and he's looking to make the same impact I did.
That's all I need to hear. I will say we do have some exceptional talent in our seniors this year. We're tall, athletic, and the team is looking to take it all the way.
Hey, that sounds great. I'm looking to come in, take over. I know there's no one that can stop me when
Let me stop you right there. I know what capabilities you have, but as I was saying previously, the starting five is stacked. What I would need you to do is provide that same energy off the bench. 6 man is all you at the moment. You're going to come in and dominate just like your daddy did back in his day. I'm just hoping the team doesn't shave that beautiful head of hair like they did to your pops.
Nah, when they cut my hair, bro, I was heated.
Yeah, I know that was crazy.
I really wanted to swing on somebody, Coach. I feel like you condone that.
I do not condone it. I do
You ain't
not condone it.
That's
no
crazy.
Diddy, baby.
As you can see, MK3 was not feeling any of that, and unfortunately, that would be his role. Let's be honest, he had no other choice at the moment. But in the southern region of the world, MK3's cousin was signing on to play at Arkansas. Not only that, he was going to be rotating in and out as a starter for his team. To make matters worse, James Iverson signed with Kansas and was going to be starting right away. Needless to say, MK3 was in his feelings, and Markus Jr. could tell, so he decided to take MK3 to a place he always wanted to go, but this was actually something his parents said no to. MK3 wanted to get tatted, so as a gift, his parents decided to let him get one, and he took full advantage of it. But it's the top of the season, and as promised, MK3 was starting the season coming off the bench. But he sat close to the coach to make sure he wasn't forgotten about. Now, there was some stipulations that the coach had put on him prior to the season starting. There would be no showboating. Don't score if there is a clear lead and time is running out. And of course, he wanted MK3 to find the open man as much as possible. But of course, he didn't care about none of that, as he comes downhill, catching his first body of the season, literally flexing on Rutgers on his way back up the court. Coach couldn't do anything but shake his head and give him another chance. Great rebound. MK3 is calling for the rock, and you can see in his eyes he had no plans on passing that ball. Coach is screaming to set a play up, but he attacks the rim. Tough lay that somehow goes in. Rutgers calls a timeout, and coach is heated. But MK3 is back in the game, getting the screen. Instead of finding the roll, he pulls the jumper and it's wet. Turns, looks at the crowd, bangs on his chest on the way back down the floor. I think the hype of his first college game was getting to him because he was too turned and coach had had enough and he sat him. But that didn't faze MK3 as he comes off the screen, wide open lane, throws one down. Bullying on defense, taking the ball. Y'all should already know this much space and it's in the rim. Another screen drawn up, and Rutgers, I guess, didn't get the memo because bruh is taking flight yet again. He's looking unstoppable. Double screen this time, and he's toying with the defense. Doing a spin in the lane for no reason. Late. Teammate is throwing up a great shot, but MK3 can tell it's not going in and finds himself with a crazy putback in his debut game, and the crowd is shocked. Clearance he got. Head literally looking in the rim. Rutgers saw it first. MK3 was different. Look at the way he just casually gets the ball to his spot and pulls the jumper like no one is there. Cash. But the biggest problem was that with 12 seconds left in the game, MK3 decides to dunk the ball even though UConn is up by 30, and that was the last straw. He finished with 22 points, 6 boards, and 4 assists that game, but that speech that coach had for him was not what he was expecting.
What did I tell you?
What you mean?
Oh, so this is funny to you. This is a game to you.
Hey, coach, I'm just chilling. We won my first game and I dropped 22. I'm looking too good out there.
You think you can make the rules here? You think you can come in and do what you want without consequences? This is my house, Trey. I make the rules here. You do what I say or you don't play. I'm not your mama and daddy. They let you get away with shit, and I'm not doing it. You're benched until you can show me you're going to follow the rules. And then when I feel like you're ready, you can play again. And even then, you're on minute restrictions until you can show me that you understand what I'm saying to you. Got it?
Big reality check for MK3, who would sit for the next few games where UConn would win some and lose some. Coach was trying to prove a point, and that was they were going to win with or without him. And I hate to say it, but MK3 didn't learn his lesson still. Now, Coach brought MK3 back against Duke, who was looking to regain their prestige, recruiting Cooper Flagg, and MK3 wanting to go pro, was looking to make a statement this game. Only problem is he was coming off the bench and he had less minutes than usual, which meant he knew in the back of his mind he had to take advantage of every opportunity. Coming into the game, Cooper is being smothered by the defense and MK3 leaking out, takes it to the rim, showing Cooper how to really get a bucket on tough defense. Tie game, MK3 making his move, crazy step back, got them lost into the jumper, get it out the net. Very next play down, eyes locked on the basket, ignoring the defense. Another tough layup, should have been an and one, and you know he had to say something. Shushing this dude crowd, looking back at the coach to see if he noticed, and you know he did. MK3 was on thin ice. He was pulled out of the game shortly after that, but once back in, he was taking advantage of the opportunity, ripping the ball, getting back to the basket, not getting the and one call. He holds his head, and coach was not liking it. But Cooper wasn't just sitting back watching the MK3 show as he pulls a three off the screen, easy shot. Vibing off of Cooper's energy, Trey doing his patented step back off the wing, big shot falls as UConn is trailing, and he just couldn't help but show his excitement for the shot. Cooper going right back at MK3, backing him down, fading on the shot, getting Cooper the space he needed, get it out the net. And due to the minute restrictions, coach pulled Trey for the rest of the game, and UConn falls to Cooper Flagg and Duke. He wasn't feeling the minutes, nor the way coach would allow them to lose to prove a point, but I think he was finally getting it. Now y'all know this next game was something we've all been looking forward to, and to add insult to the way MK3 was feeling, Arkansas was starting his cousin Devin in his game. Not only that, but Devin was leading his team in points and really making an impact for this Arkansas team. Straight away, Devin is coming off the screen, pulling and cashing the shot, and all Trey could do was watch. But on the other end, he knew what he had to do. Get into the basket, easy lay over the taller defender. Up by 5, taking the screen, fading into the three-pointer. He had to let the fans know he was like that too, but Devin had an answer for that. Coming down, saucing up, tough fader, that's a bucket every time. Markus on the isolation, taking baseline, bullying his defender. Tough layup, and he's letting his team know he got him. On the fast break, it's too much court for him to move. Rising up, hammering one down, and UConn is starting to pull away. Arkansas needed a timeout, but that wouldn't stop him as he gets past his man, carries the next guy, tough lay, and here we go again. The trash talk after the tough shot. He couldn't hold back. Devin's still in his bag, coming off the screen, even with a hand in his face, pulls one, and it's money. Confusion on the pick and roll. Devin is on fire, and he pulled a heat check. He actually misses the shot. On the fast break, Trey doesn't take the lane. Coach is pissed. He's showing Devin how to shoot that bitch, and it's wet. Coach lets him live, and I'm glad he did, because off the screen, MK3 rises up and puts Arkansas center on a nasty poster. After sitting for a bit, UConn is down, but Trey is cooking. Get into the basket. Easy one. Fast break, and the way he moves is like poetry. Nasty dunk, but that poetry runs in the family. Devin doing his thing, cash on release. UConn is still fighting to win this game. Trey comes downhill, tough floater. He gets it to go. And with what would be his last points of the game, he knew he had to do something crazy. The Euro step into the one-hand poster had Arkansas fans out their seats. The freak of nature appeared, but again, with fewer minutes, he was benched for the rest of the game, finishing with 26 points, 1 board, and assist. But Devin and Arkansas taking the win by 3 points. Devin dropped 26 points, 7 boards, 2 steals, and 2 blocks, and the bragging rights for this one. Now we're moving ahead in the season. MK3 was learning to tone it down a bit, and he was slowly being rewarded for it. But look at the tough lay against North Carolina to get things going. Off the screen is a dangerous play to be guarding Trey as he takes off, catching a mean body, and he was just getting started. Great defense on one end leads to MK3 not passing it on the break, getting up off vert, punching in another one in front of the home crowd. Another screen gets him open for the jumper. That's too easy. Patient defense here as he just floats in the air after the pump fade. Get that shit out of here. Actually seeing him pass the ball on the break just to get it back though. Crazy. Ooh, only up 2 points. Just doing what he wants to on the court. taking his defender to the rim, and he was too hot at this point, and he had to let the home team and the defense know that he had no plans on slowing down. Really showing off his defense and his knowledge for the game, picking the ball off, and he's just too fast. They can't keep up with him. Big dunk on the other end. The display of his change of direction as he turns, chases down the defender. It's an easy dunk on the other end where you can jump this high. Flexing that vert again, and that was the icing on the cake as North Carolina calls a timeout. MK3 is telling the crowd to get on their feet. Coach has seen enough though, and he knew it was only going to get worse if he kept him out there. Only finishing with 16 points, 5 boards this game, but it was a big win for UConn. Now, Markus had managed to keep his composure for the rest of the season, and due to some injuries on the team, he had found his way into the starting lineup. And what better time for this to happen than in March Madness? And we're going to fast forward to the games we want to see, and it's the Final Four against none other than his own cousin Devin and the Arkansas Razorbacks. Both teams have fought their way to this point, and the world was in for a treat because, as you all know, MK3 and the guys took an L to them earlier in the season, and Markus was on a kill streak this postseason. And this game was going to be no different. Already getting this started, somehow Trey is open in the corner, and you might as well get it out the net. Look at the chase down. And then it's downhill from there, not worried about the defender, put him in the rim. Devin was getting beat up this game as he misses the contested shot, but his cousin, too big and too strong on the other end, makes light work of the defense. But you know, Devin would bounce right back, tying this game up with a tough shot. Cash. All the energy is with UConn right now. Pump fake, got him out of his shoes, easy dunk. Devin coming right back, too smooth. Oh my goodness. Freaky lay at the rim, and the cousins are going at each other. Devin somehow switched on the MK3. It's a crazy mismatch. You see the results. Speaking of mismatch, why is MK3 giving Devin that much space? I'm not sure, but you can get it at the net. Feeling the intensity, MK3 back on it, double screen, frees him up for the easy attack, and I don't know what came over him, but the excitement came out of him, and he was ready to keep cooking. Easy block on the defensive end, getting the ball right back. He can't see anyone else on the floor as he gets the tough and one. He knows he's on fire. Devin having his way with the rock. One of the best dribblers in college basketball. Tough lay, and UConn wants to talk about it. Timeout. They can't cool him off, though, as Devin comes right back off the screen. Cash. Another great defensive play from Trey. Getting through that lane, dunk it. Who's guarding Devin, though? No one. Bet. The disrespect, get it out the net. Somebody needs to switch on to Devin because the look in his eyes, he knows what it is. Just dancing. Tough jumper. You see that double screen, and I told y'all, it's always trouble for whoever is under that rim. Big body from MK3, down by 8. And this was the push he needed to turn it up a bit. Taking baseline, the help doesn't matter. Tough lay over 2 defenders. The change of direction is too much for the defender as MK3's footwork is put on display in the paint. Devin being switched back onto his cousin should not have been allowed because MK3 is going to attack every time. Get out the paint. But Devin is no slouch on the offensive side, making his cousin look foolish. Tough shot, but he gets the shooter's bounce to go. And the family feud continues. MK3 taking advantage of his size. Easy dunk. Trying to keep track of Devin is costing UConn big as Devin gets an easy one to go out the corner. And although MK3 is tired, he's still making crazy plays as time runs down in this game. Spin to the reverse dunk. 1-point game, and Devin is still lighting it up from the corner. Even with a hand in his face, he takes a bow, and MK3 is triggered. Head down, get into the basket. MK3 tapping into a different animal right now. Waiting for the screen, he takes his time, get into the basket, tying this game up with seconds left. With the game tied, Devin takes a terrible shot with MK3 in his face, and Trey takes the opportunity to just outrun the defenders and grab the 2-point lead. Arkansas calls the timeout. MK3 had to taunt his cousin with this one as he smiles. It's a 4-point lead. 21 seconds left. Devin hasn't given up. Comes down and shoots a crazy shot over his cousin, but it wasn't enough, and Trey is moving on to the championship game, finishing this one with 36 points, 7 boards, and 5 assists, handing a big L to his cousin. But this championship game was against someone we haven't talked about since the beginning of this episode, and that's James Iverson in Kansas. Now, Kansas was being led fearlessly by James, but they weren't the best team in the nation. Yes, they had beat some great teams, but they were all buzzer beaters and pretty much just James attacking as much as possible. Now, MK3 knew this, and he wanted to make sure the world knew that Kansas had gotten there off a fluke, and UConn was there off of pure talent. Now, starting the game off with a late contest from MK3 that turns into an easy three on the other end of the floor. Staying aggressive, Trey throws one down over two defenders. Too nasty. But look at the vert as MK3 extends over his player, sending the ball to the stands, and Kansas is in for a long game. Pump fake, got Kansas looking dumb, attacking the rim like it owes him money. 3-point lead and the show is starting. The defender doesn't know which way Trey is going. One cross and it's back to the basket. James finally shows his face, showing his speed, putting up a tough basket on Trey. Double screen, and instead of going to the basket, he pulls a three-pointer, cashing out. Nobody stops the ball as James takes advantage of the open lane, easy dunk for him. James guarding MK3. The mismatch here is crazy. Taking his time, getting a tough layup to go. James, though, surprising Trey with the cut to the basket, also getting a tough layup. Then he comes right back, beating Trey off the dribble, this time throwing it down because no Trey is trailing him. And MK3 just can't keep up with James as he takes off again, throwing it down. But Trey is tapping back in, getting the ball off the handoff, wide open lane, easy dunk. A little confusion under the basket, accidentally gets MK3 open for the jumper in his spot. Easy take. With this game almost out of reach, James finds himself open. Get it out the net. But you know Trey had to answer. Off the screen, pulling the three, giving them a 9-point lead. But let's fast forward and the game is out of reach for Kansas as James is fighting back. Big dunk, but a little too late. And James continues to go at it as he takes off for another monster dunk on Trey. Now you know Trey is not going to let that slide. Off the screen, jumper is cash. Great defense, but somehow James gets the loose ball and catches a jumper of his own. Mr. Iverson isn't done, throwing up an unusual three, and he gets it to go. Then he comes right back at it. Watch James show you why he's projected to go first round in the draft. Euro step, crazy dunk over two people. And then downhill Trey shows his face as he drops a defender, pulls the jumper, and he has the crowd rocking as he turns to the crowd with a mean mug on his face. With time winding down, James takes his last shot in a Kansas uniform, but he's also taking his last L with him to the NBA as UConn wins March Madness and Markus Jones Jr. is a college champion. And I can't lie, this was a great learning experience, a great learning process for MK3. And he still hasn't learned to settle down on the court. And in the next episode, you're going to see how all this still affects him in the end. What an incredible season from MK3 and UConn, winning the March Madness tournament in a dominant fashion. And from the outside looking in, MK3 was about to take the NBA by storm. But before leaving UConn, the coach wanted to speak with him to send him on his way to the league.
What a season, and I'm so glad you were able to lock it in towards the end. You did what I asked, and you were rewarded.
Yeah, I guess.
Listen, we don't have to end things like this. I only wanted to do what was best for you, and it worked out.
No, what you were trying to do was suppress who I am to get what you wanted.
We'll agree to disagree. All I wanted to do was wish you well in the league.
That's it?
Yes, that's it, Marcus. Enjoy the ride. It's going to go quickly. And before you know it, you'll be me, sitting across from a super talented young man with a bad attitude. And then you'll understand.
No, I'll never be like you. I'll never be a dried up used to be that had to settle for coaching because he wasn't good enough to make enough money to last him.
We clearly have two different point of views.
Can I go?
Yes, you're free to go.
As you could tell, Marcus was not feeling anything that the coach had to say, and unfortunately, the coach was just trying to give him some game because his life was about to come at MK3 fast. Speaking of fast, we're moving ahead in the year and the NBA draft was quickly approaching, and MK3 was starting to get the news that he was not a first round pick, and what was being reported was that it was solely based off his attitude. Any type of business like this where the word travels fast and you're not sure who knows who, MK3 was on the list of players that were uncoachable. He quickly turned to the internet speaking on the fact that he was undoubtedly the best player in the draft by a long shot, and it was disrespectful that he would not be the #1 player in this year's draft. But you know who was? James Iverson. Scouts were saying he was super coachable, ready to work, and no matter what you needed him to do, he would do it. And he was going to help some NBA team win a ring one day. MK3 was totally confused by what was happening, and he was ready to crash out. Luckily, his father stepped in and tried to give him some game. He let his son know that the league was a business at the end of the day, and it's all about perception and how he really needed to clean up his act if he wanted to go to the next level. Now, y'all know by now, anytime there was a heart-to-heart, bro was not listening, and all that wisdom that Markus Jr. was trying to give him fell on deaf ears. Needless to say, being projected to go second round, the league still wanted MK3 to participate in the NBA Combine as well as the games to potentially show scouts that what they perceived about him was incorrect. To MK3, this was just another slap in the face, and he declined privately and publicly. He let the news outlets know that not only was he not interested, he was upset about everything that was going on, and it was not a good look. Needing some time to clear his mind, he spent countless hours alone, really trying to figure out his next best move. With his talent, he really could do whatever he wanted. He could go overseas right now and get a bag playing in the Turkish league. And just before he was about to make that call and figure that out, his cousin Devin was on the line. You see, Devin, who too was projected to go late first, early second round, was looking to return to Arkansas to win a championship. Not because of his draft projection, but because that's something he always wanted to do. He pitched the idea that Markus should join him in Arkansas to help him. And at first, Markus wasn't interested in going backwards, but the simple thought of revenge came to his mind, and he was all for it.
I'm going to put you in as a starter. Your game is everything we need. You and Devin and the players we have coming back are going to take over, no questions asked.
Yeah, I really just want to prove the scouts wrong. I know what type of player I am and what I can do. It's about to be a cakewalk, coach.
I love your enthusiasm. I love the way you don't hold back no matter what. That could either be a good thing or a bad thing, but either way, I got your back.
I just feel like no one gets that. I speak from passion, and that's shown in my game.
Markus, you're a different breed. There's nothing wrong with a little showboating, but you have to be able to back it up. Now, the NBA is about politics, and I'm going to teach you how to navigate that. Everybody else wants to just tell you what to do. I'm going to help you be the #1 pick you deserve. You just got to trust me.
I'm all ears. Seems as if all it took was for someone to acknowledge MK3's feelings. He felt unheard before, and I think this was going to be exactly what bro needed to finally settle down and get to work. All right, first game of the season, and the team was looking locked in as the offseason was good to them. Devin and MK3 on the same team was about to be a movie. Not only that, but the addition of Elijah Arenas was potentially going to put them over the top. First challenge would be against the Michigan Wolverines, and the first play let us know all we needed to know as Devin casually walks into a three-pointer and it's wet. Then he turns right back around, walks to MK3 and cashes another one as if the defense wasn't there. And I guess Michigan's coach wasn't aware of who he was playing because MK3 was wide open. Get it out the net. Defense was something that Markus focused on this summer, and it shows, but you still know he's Mr. Downhill, attacking the rim, easy lay on the other end, and not doing too much as he mean mugs the defender for overcrowding him. Devin's footwork is top tier as he dances a little step back for the jumper and his money. Half court setting, MK3 treats it as if it's a fast break, getting past his man, crunching on the man in the paint. He makes it look too easy. Now look at the patience on defense, getting another block. Pushing it up court, fans out for the three, and we all know it's going to fall. Calling for the screen, his man can't recover, trying to keep up, ends up putting him in the rim, another body in this debut game. Arkansas getting the board, and MK3 making transition defense seem non-existent as he crams another one home. Calling for the screen, studying the situation, finds himself open for the deep two. That's an easy jumper. The defense is top tier from Arkansas as they come up with the steal, and it's downhill from here as MK3 rises up, nasty attack on the rim. Pump faking, you can tell they respect the jumper, but he's too athletic, punishing the rim, slowing the game down. Then a crazy burst to the rim, another body for MK3, and this debut was getting wild. Bro was really thinking he was doing something, and MK3 shut that down quickly, headed downhill. Goofy gets in the way, only to get posted again, and it's not looking good for Michigan. Letting the play work itself out, finding himself wide open. That's another easy shot for MK3, extending this lead. Not looking to settle for a jumper here, working the pick and roll, another easy dunk. Let's not forget about Devin though, playing with his food, steps around, catches out a midi, and this game is over. Amazing season opener for the new Razorbacks. Devin dropped 35 with 3 assists. MK3 had 31. 3 boards, 7 assists, and 3 blocks. Keeping the season going against a tough Oklahoma team, starting with a block and a rim-shaking dunk for the first home game of the season. And I guess the coach really let Markus off the leash this game because he was scoring all of Arkansas's points this opening drive. The dribble move, sizing up his man. They can't stay in front of him. Tough lay. Screen out the corner, taking his time with the jumper. Tying this game up, and he's starting to feel it. Pump fake to the screen, to the three-pointer, and it's a bucket. Devin with a tough shot, and Oklahoma is not boxing out. Crazy putback. 1 point game, and downhill Trey is wide awake. Goofy got to move. Instead, he gets bodied, and the crowd is rocking. Screen to the left, and MK3 is just bullying his way to the rim. That weight room coming in handy right now. Defense being put back on display. I'm not sure why Goofy even tried it, and MK3 pointing to the stands, letting the crowd know that he was going to take them all the way. Tie game, almost halftime. Time to give the team some life. Nice dunk to do just that. Getting Devin his touches as he fans out to the corner. Easy 3. Let's do it again. This time from deep. Cash out. And right before halftime, gotta serve another dunk to get the 2 point lead, and the paint is super weak right now. Back from half, looking to put some space between them. Devin with a beautiful shot. Markus at the top of the key, attacking the paint fearlessly. Same scenario, same result. Really abusing that rim. Back doors are open as the team is having fun with the game. Windmill alley-oop is crazy work. The dribble moves got the defender in a daze. Still tried to contest the shot. Gets him in another MK3 poster. Devin putting the nail in the coffin as he comes around to cash out another 3. And Oklahoma needs a timeout, and that's game. Tough opponent, but Arkansas manages to come out on top as Markus drops 43, 7 boards and assists with 3 blocks, and Devin with 21 points and 3 assists. But contrary to popular belief, the road wasn't always easy for the boys facing off against SEC Conference Tennessee, although they are getting started with a crazy lob from cousin to cousin to start the game. Then downhill Trey rising up, throwing one down, and then right back at it, getting to the rim again, and Arkansas was off to a nice start. Tennessee needed a timeout, and MK3 was really feeling it. Like, bro was looking goofy as hell going to the bench. Coach told him to keep that energy, and that just motivated him even more. Coming off the screen, easy jumper. Coming down the court, MK3 is laser focused. I don't know, but he easily just gets off the ground, catching a body that was so random. Off the screen, another slow jumper, and the game is coming easy to him. You have to box out around this kid, bro, because the lane was wide open, and he takes advantage of it, and it's a nasty putback in Tennessee. Down by 4, and Devin needs to start shooting. Coming off the screen, easy jumper. MK3 leaving his defender at half court, and that's an easy one, as well as him hanging off the rim. Here comes Devin, fighting his way open. Get it out the net, giving Arkansas a 4 point lead. MK3 helping the young Elijah Arenas get out of trouble in the corner, pulling one, and it goes. Look at the hands-on defense, which turns into a foot race where Devin throws one up and it gets hammered down. Behind the back move into the fader, and the game is super tight right now. Beat the footwork from MK3, who makes something out of nothing in the paint, and this is a back and forth game. Now down by 6, MK3 attacking the rim, getting the and 1, trying to give the team some type of energy for a final push to win this game. Great defense and board. Down by 3, downhill Trey trying to get a high percentage shot to go, and he does. But Tennessee was just too much as they find themselves down 6 with seconds left. MK3 throws one up, and he gets it to fall. Still down 5, Devin gets open to cash 1, putting them down 2. Tennessee calls a timeout, but it wasn't enough, and Arkansas falls to Tennessee by 1 point. Markus dropped 45 points with 9 assists and 9 rebounds and 2 blocks. Devin came in with 22 points and 5 assists. Needless to say, this was a reality check for the guys who didn't want to lose that way again. And to be fair, they didn't. They wouldn't lose another game the rest of the regular season. Devin would be named All SEC First Team, and Markus would be named Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, and all the SEC awards he could get. And now we get into March Madness as the Arkansas team ran through their bracket and the Final Four was announced, and you wouldn't believe who they would be matched up against.
I see the look on your face, and I'm with it if you with it.
Coach, you know I'm willing to do anything to win this game. I'm about to leave it all on the floor tonight.
You've been doing that all season, so I know what's about to happen tonight. All I will say is pace yourself and get to the money. You off the leash tonight.
Say less.
Go out there and kill them. Leave nothing on the table, and you will win.
Win or go home Final Four matchup against his former team in UConn, who had all players return from the previous season, and they knew Markus's game, but I don't think they knew what extent he would go to beat them. Taking his time to get started, like Coach says, he finds an inch of room, throws one up, and he gets it to go. Right back at it, they're looking for him to attack the rim, but he's feeling the shot tonight. Another three out the net. Defense is great. Almost got a block. Turning on the Jets, getting to the rim, impossible make, and he turns to his former coach to let him know he made a huge mistake. MK3 knows the paint ain't like that as he takes off on the three defenders, putting them all in the rim. Downhill tray cannot be stopped. Even tougher layup, he gets it to go. Down by 3, no problem. Taking his time, pulling the shot. Screen, and instead of taking it, he goes right back into the defense, and what can they do when he rises up like this but take the abuse? And he wasn't done as he comes around again. Easy dunk. Still no guarding this man like he's not an NBA player playing college ball. Get it out the net. And I don't know what came over him, but the shots were falling tonight. Another bucket from 3. And it gets worse as he takes off for the dunk on his former teammates, trying his best to embarrass them. UConn is afraid of the 3-ball, which sets him up for an easy one. Defensive rebound turns into a fast break, and UConn is just too tired to keep up, which is when Devin steps in and runs them off the screen, making the easy 3-pointer, putting them up 2. Not concerned with his replacement, he gets disrespectful, carrying that man to the rim for a nasty dunk, and he just looks at him with disgust. Double screen, attacking the rim, misses the first attempt, but quickly puts the ball back in the rim, down by 1. And look at this bucket. Fast break. MK3 is using his body to shield the layup, getting a crazy one to go. Down by 2, and he's looking to send these guys home as he finds the rim for a memorable poster in this Final Four game. But it's a tie game, and Arkansas comes up with the steal, and you know what it is already. We on that rim. UConn trying their best to stay in front of him, but it's not working. Tie game turns into an easy 3. Devin coming off the pick, you know what it is. Get it out the net. Now it's a 2-point lead. Devin gets a big screen, fading 3, and that's another bucket. Devin attacking the paint this time, finds a wide open Markus for whatever reason, and it's good. Fast break opportunity. Markus flashes one to Devin, who doesn't hesitate, and that was just a slap in the face as Markus and Devin head to the March Madness Tournament Championship in a dominating performance from both of them. Devin with 18 points and 6 assists. Markus with 50 points, 6 boards, and 9 assists. What a game from them both. Let's see if they can continue that in the championship game. Championship game, and this was a game that Devin had been waiting for since the season started. But the boys knew this wasn't going to be an easy one. This game was against a team that had took them to overtime in the regular season, and that team was none other than Florida, who was looking to get some get back. MK3, knowing that, gets the game started off with a nasty one-handed dunk, looking to get the team fired up early. Look at Devin coming off the screen, gets a bit of space and cashes out the jumper. Florida looking to score on the transition, and MK3 is having none of that as he rises up, sending the shot out of bounds. Florida has a 7-point lead, and the Cousins aren't going for it. Devin with a big shot. Then MK3 finding some space of his own, gets another shot to go. Attacking the rim is always the easiest shot. Baseline, nasty poster. Pump fake to the lane, and the defender can't stop that. Down by 3, MK3 getting to the lane so violently, catching another body in the paint. Faster defender staying on his hip, that's cool. The fader works every time. Get it out the net. I don't know who they put on MK3, but he can't match him. In that lane, on that rim. Look at the finesse as the screen works perfectly. Floater over the taller defender. Backdoor screen from Devin. The ball is tossed perfectly, and it's another throwdown for Arkansas. Markus looking his man right in the eye as the clock runs down. Cashes a 3-pointer to go into half, up 3. And Arkansas keeps that same energy after half as Devin cashes one out to start. Footwork is top tier. Spin through 2 men, rising up for the dunk. Masterclass on attacking the rim for Markus. Faster player, but check how he sauces the man on the cross. Oh my goodness, he's unstoppable. Why are they guarding him so high? I can't tell you, but that's another big dunk for the guys. Still guarding him off the 3, that's fine. Look at the pro move, Euro step to the rim, easy layup for MK3. And I guess bro thought he was downhill tray, but he put that to bed quickly with the block. Then on the other end, making light work of the defender, carrying him to the rim for the poster. Handoff at the top of the key, catching speed, rising up for another body on a smaller player. Playing great defense, fighting for the steal, getting the loose ball, taking off and hanging on the rim. MK3 gives Florida their final salute because he knows it's over for them. And this would be his final bucket in college, which would just so happen to be a dunk, and Arkansas had done it. Devin with his first college championship win, and Marcus back-to-back college champ, dropping 48 points, 8 boards, 7 assists, 4 steals, and 4 blocks. This was a season to remember and would go down in history books as one of the greatest college performances ever. MK3 was nothing short of a pro, and he was ready to keep proving it. NBA draft time, and we're not going to waste any time getting into this part of the story. As you all know, James Iverson was already in the league and he was doing his thing. Being drafted to the New York Knicks, he was named Rookie of the Year, and not only that, but he somehow managed to help that team win an NBA championship. We all know that MK3 was a hater, and he was already shooting himself in the foot on social media, letting the world know that whatever team he got drafted to was going to be next up, and he would do it easily. Speaking of that team, let's talk about how MK3 and Devin were doing as far as NBA scouts are concerned. They said Devin was going to do big things and they could see him developing into a Hall of Famer one day. NBA scouts loved his tenacity and his willingness to play the game the right way. MK3's evaluation wasn't too far off as well. Scouts were looking at him in a much different light than last year, and I can't lie, he had straightened up his act, and it was showing. Now fast forward to the draft lottery, and it was looking as if Devin and MK3 were either going to the Wizards or the Jazz. The most shocking part was that Devin was actually projected to go number 1 and MK3 was projected to go number 2 in the draft due to team need. If you ask Marcus how he felt about it, he'd probably tell you it didn't matter because he wasn't going to fight or hate on his cousin. But on a deeper level, he wanted that number 1 spot. And when it was draft day, Devin was indeed selected number 1 to Washington, and MK3 went to the Utah Jazz at number 2. What MK3 was more concerned with was that check, and he locked in a 2-year $29.63 million deal, and his cousin secured a 2-year $33.12 million deal, and the cousins were happy and most importantly richer than they were before. Let's move ahead to summer league, and MK3 agreed to play 1 game. He was definitely in his diva era, and Utah agreed because let's be fair, he was an asset to this team. And here's why. Jumping right into the game, get into the lane, Euro step through, lay. Utah playing great defense, getting a glimpse of downhill Trey as he fights his way to the rim. Out-muscling his defender, another tough one goes. Finally seeing him in a half-court setting, showing his quickness with the ball, leaves this man stunned back to the rim for another lay. Another quick move leaves the defender lost. Euro with the switch at the rim, and he's just showing off now. Flexing his athleticism, blowing past the box out, amazing putback for the rookie. Fast break, defender loses him. He pops out for the 3-pointer and gets it to go. And you know he had to show off a bit, letting that summer league know he was really like that. Shot clock winding down. Who else do you give it to besides the best player on the floor? Easy lay. Seconds left in the game, downhill, hanging on that rim, and the crowd is in love with him as he dances back up the court, not even trying to play defense anymore. And that was game. The anticipation of seeing MK3 play in an NBA setting was finally over, but now the real anticipation started because we all wanted to see what he was going to do in a real NBA game. And he did not disappoint those few months in between summer league and the regular season, constantly hyping his debut like a boxer. The media took full advantage of the outspoken rookie who would always find himself going viral for what he was saying. One of the craziest interviews was with Stephen A, and MK3 said some crazy stuff.
We know the last season in college, you were a man amongst boys. You should have been in the NBA, but we won't go there. What do you have in store for NBA fans now that you are here?
Oh, it's going to be the same action as it was in college. Now that I'm here, you're going to see how I take over, no problem.
Are there any NBA superstars that you are looking forward to playing?
Oh, definitely Giannis. He's such a great defender. I want to go at him for sure. Victor, he's super tall and everybody thinks he can't get the business, so I'm trying to do that as well.
Okay, now hold on. You talking heavy. Will you be able to back this up?
I promise you, there is no one better than me in the league right now. I'm smashing on all them guys. Well, you heard him. And first up on that schedule was none other than Giannis and the Bucks. Giannis wasn't one to back down from a challenge, and neither was MK3, but I wasn't too sure how much MK3 knew this challenge was going to be, especially since he was a rookie and Giannis is an NBA champ. But nevertheless, let's get into the game, and MK3 is starting off strong, playing great defense at getting the board, then down court. He shows his confidence throwing up an early three, and it actually goes in. But Giannis is locked in, getting to the rim for a nasty poster. MK3 sizing up Giannis, trying to figure out the best way to make his move, eventually attacking Giannis with no fear, switching up the shot, and he gets it to fall. Look at Giannis throwing up a last-second three, and that shot falls, letting you know this is going to be a special matchup. Then he comes right back, head down, real Giannis attacking the lane, tough layup. Then right back at it, pushing off his defender, making another tough layup look easy. Marcus's turn, as he comes downhill, spinning off, getting the end one to go, and that's a big statement for the Utah team. Coming off the screen, MK3 taking his time, pulling the three, get it out the net. And Marcus is back, flexing again, letting the Bucks fans know that it's over from that point on. Quick first step from the top of the key, looking like Giannis on that rim. Popping out from the down screen, Marcus finds himself open again, no hesitation, get it out the net. Tough shot over Giannis, no worries. MK3 on the board, pump fake into the easy layup, and the guys are cooking. Marcus wanted to take the three here, but he knew his defender was soft in the paint. Strong move, and that's another easy bucket. Hiding behind that screen, Marcus taking his time again, gets the jumper to fall, and the Bucks need a timeout. But Marcus was standing on business this game as he finishes the Bucks off with a nice baseline dunk, and that was a huge win for Marcus and the Utah Jazz, opening the season beating a championship team. Marcus finished with 29 points, 6 boards, and 3 blocks. But everything that glitters ain't gold. You know the spoiled brat had to show his face sooner or later. Marcus, plain and simple, had a partying and spending problem, and now that he was an adult with his own money, it was getting worse and worse. Being able to spend his money how he wanted was the issue. It used to be daddy's money that he would go shopping with, and it had limits. Nowadays, there was no limit, and the partying was crazy. There wasn't a moment when he wasn't partying. He was not putting in extra time in the gym. He was spending all that time flexing and getting with girls. This led to him suffering his first major injury to his left patella that would bench him for 2 to 4 months. And instead of going to rehab to get better quicker, he was out partying, enjoying the life. So with missing 4 months of basketball, he was finally back and was able to face off against another player he called out at the beginning of the season. But this team was much different than the one he thought he was going to be playing. Starting off slower than usual, Jimmy Butler comes out firing and gets an easy bucket. But Marcus quickly found his footing as Utah is playing great defense, and on the other end, we see Marcus sky for a nasty poster from the lob. And of course, in true MK3 fashion, he's showing off on the way back down the court. Downhill Trey making an appearance, getting to the rim, tough lay on the defense, and he's all smiles on the way back. He had plenty to smile about now as he makes his way back to the rim for another big dunk. Calling for the screen, it's a wide open lane to the basket, and that's an easy lay for him. Another screen, and this time he sets his feet and pulls the three. Might as well get that out the net. Look at the fearlessness in his eyes, driving to the basket. Victor in his way, he doesn't care, running through him, getting the and one to go. And that was a big bucket for Marcus as he claps and shows off in Victor's face. Getting Jimmy to give him some space as he takes what he gets, easy jumper, get it out the net. Jimmy giving him too much space again. Another jumper and another bucket for Marcus. But Jimmy was on one in this game as well. Look at the nasty step back, and Marcus can't keep up. Nice jumper. MK3 wants it back this time, bringing the pressure to Jimmy, the bump and the foul. Getting the and one, that's a tough one for sure. 2-point game, and MK3 senses the urgency as he blows past his man for an easy lay at the rim. Pump fake, got Jimmy shook, driving the lane, tough lay, and San Antonio calls the timeout to try and stop MK3 from getting too riled up. But Victor Wembanyama comes back out firing and making a tough jumper to ultimately put out the MK3 fire, and that's game as the Utah Jazz fall to San Antonio 56-63. Marcus would finish with 29 points, 4 boards, 2 assists, and 1 steal. Now, unfortunately, lightning would strike twice for Marcus due to the consistent partying and not taking the proper care of his knee. He would spend another month and a half on the bench, and the team thought it would be best to just bring him back for the postseason runs in the hopes to win a championship. And because of this, Devin would end up winning Rookie of the Year, and Marcus was genuinely happy for his cousin, of course, throwing a party in his honor. But that didn't mean that Marcus was not on time in that postseason. Fighting his way to the Western Conference Finals against Dallas as Utah was about to do the impossible and sweep that team for the West. Now we're jumping in at game 4 where MK3 has carried the guys, and it shows as he cashes out a deep 3 to get the game started. I mean, look at him attacking the rim on the miss. That's a nasty putback. Then again, on the boards, throwing Trey Thompson out of the way, then throwing it down. He was locked in. Fast break, Draymond trying to body him up, makes it an easy lay for Marcus. The screen into the attack, getting the and one to go, and Marcus is back in his bag. flexing on this Dallas team. Screen, jumper, get it out the net. Another screen, taking his time, that's a 3, get it out the net. Fast break, and the unfortunate happens as Markus goes up for a lob in traffic and comes down tweaking his hip. And that would have been game for him, but he insisted on coming back out. And although his hip is killing him, he gets to the rim easily, forcing Dallas to call a timeout as he winces back to the bench. Isolation with a hurt hip is crazy, but somehow, even with the loss of speed, he manages to get to the rim, and that's a bucket. Screen out of the corner, and he just walks into the 3, and that's another shot going in. Same scenario, and he just walks into the jumper this time. Get it out the net. Look at this. Not even using his full speed, breaks Clay down, and that's another bucket for him. 2-point game, and MK3 is giving all he has, attacking the rim, throwing down a big dunk in Utah that would give them a 4-point swing and the sweep and a ticket to the NBA championship. Even with a hurt hip and the limited minutes, he still managed to put up 36 points, 5 boards, and 5 assists that game. Not only that, but he won Western Conference MVP. Although he was reckless, you had to admit he was a dog. And for the first time all season, he took his recovery seriously, obviously only for the NBA championship, and it was against none other than the Rookie of the Year and his cousin Devin and the Washington Wizards. The series was tied 3-3, and the Cousins were putting on a show every night, every game. This game would be no different. Utah starting off with great defense. On the other end, Devin had to watch as his cousin took flight on him for a crazy dunk to get the arena rocking. But Devin was locked in as well, dancing, getting around his man, nice floater. MK3 doing what he wanted, getting to the lane, showing off his floater as well. That's money. Calling for the screen, taking his time. Then out of nowhere, rises up, putting his defender in the rim. MK3 was locked in. Devin attacking the rim, making it look easy. The lay is good. Denying the screen, MK3 is too fast. Back at the rim for the lay. No screen needed this time. Catching his man off guard, big dunk. Fast break, and Washington is just too slow. MK3 hanging on that rim. Devin, even with a hand in his face, pulls one and it just falls for him. Screen to the right, getting enough room to spin in a layup. MK3 back with the score. Fast break, and Devin knows what's coming, and the ref still calls a foul on the reverse lay, and Devin is heated. No way the ref's calling it this tight for game 7. 10-point deficit for Washington, and MK3 is just unstoppable in the lane. Freaky layup that somehow falls. It's just the MK3 show at this point. Nasty poster. Devin doing a little dance before halftime, throws one up and it falls, which would eventually get him going. Coming off the screen, 3-pointer is good, and Utah needs time to talk about it. Out of the corner, MK3 takes the jumper and it's good. Screen again, not settling, attacking the basket, nice dunk. Look at the defense as MK3 hawks down his man, throwing the shot, and he just claps in their face. Markus, almost losing the ball at the top of the key, gets it back, frustrated, and throws one down. Big poster late in this game, and Washington needs another timeout. And the timeout was worth it because Devin came back firing, taking a big shot, and it falls. Then again, just right into it off the screen, get it out the net. Markus not being solid, puts his man in the rim, tough dunk, and Markus has the arena rattling with that one, getting the crowd on their feet on his way back down the court. Devin showing his strength at the rim, tough layup, but it just wasn't enough as Markus becomes an NBA champion, beating his own cousin and former teammate. Made it even sweeter. Not to mention, Devin beat James Iverson in the Eastern Conference Finals to get there. But 37 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 block was enough to give Markus the Finals MVP trophy he deserved. Now, after that season, Markus wouldn't win another championship due to the lack of taking care of his body until he was too old. He would retire early and become a college basketball coach after a very successful attempt at reviving his career overseas. But Markus Jones III will definitely go down as the brat that had all the potential but not enough sense to capitalize on it.